Fortitude. Learning objectives. 1. To value fortitude in our daily life. 2. To understand forbearance and fortitude are essential to lead a happy life. Warm up. Find out the words from the grid given below. Clue box. King's state name. King's feminine. Head of the state. Synonym of a guard. Instruction for discussion. Organize a classroom discussion and ask all the children to participate. In this role play, few children will become villagers, one will be a king and others will become ministers. Start a discussion based on warm-up activity. Once upon a time, there was a king in Osaka whose queen was beautiful and lived for many years. One day, the sentries informed the king that his queen was in the company of an ascetic. The king was angry hearing this. He flew into a terrible rage and immediately left to see his queen. He reached the place where both the queen and the ascetic were talking to each other. The king tried to hurt the ascetic, but the queen pleaded him not to do so and spare his life out of mercy. The king asked, "Why did you come here? What do you teach?" The ascetic replied, "I speak about the value of forbearance. My lord, I have learned from my masters to never lose composure even in rejection and abuse." The king was amazed to hear that and noticed the ascetic's calm response. But skeptical in his view, the king decided to test the ascetic and ordered guards to lash at him with a whip of thorns. The king said to ascetic, "Now show me your forbearance." The ascetic was still calm. It triggered the king even more. He then decided to give punishment to the ascetic. He ordered his guards to lock the ascetic in a dark room for 2 days, not give him food, and lash at him. After the punishment, the ascetic was taken to the king. The king, in a sarcastic tone, said, "Now say, what do you teach?" The ascetic still smiled and replied, "The value of forbearance and fortitude, my lord." The king was amazed to hear that even after such severe punishment, this changed his view towards the ascetic. The king apologized for the punishment and rewarded the ascetic with gold, a house, and jewels. He also asked him to teach more about forbearance and fortitude. The ascetic smiled and agreed to teach him those qualities that he learned and practiced from his master. Find meaning. Ascetic, guard, amazed, surprised. Sword, a weapon with a long metal blade. Jewel, a precious stone. Rage, anger, triggered a negative response. Forbearance, patience or tolerance. Composure, the state of being calm. Art integration. A crown is a traditional form of head adornment or hat worn by the kings as a symbol of their power and dignity. Keeping this in mind, create a beautiful crown using colored paper. Exercises. Creative expression. Imagine you are a king or queen. How do you feel about your kingdom? Share your feelings. Cross-curricular connect. Learning by doing. Take a different color of Play-Doh and make a shape like a queen out of it. Let it dry and show it to your classmates. Critical thinking. Let's play a game. Your teacher will organize a classroom discussion and ask all the students to participate. In this role play, few students will become villagers, one will become king, and others will become ministers. Start a discussion based on the chapter. Logical thinking. Suppose you're a king for a day and your kingdom is in crisis. Everyone is seeking a solution. Your kingdom is located nearby a river. What will you do to save your kingdom? List at least 5 ways you can best utilize natural resources to solve the problem. Act it out. A. The king is ordering his guards. B. The queen is pleading in front of the king. C. The king is giving gifts to the ascetic. Exercise time. Write long answers for the following questions. A. Why did the king apologize? Answer. The king apologized for the punishment given to the ascetic. B. Why was the king so happy? Answer. The king was amazed to hear the ascetic's calm response. C. What gifts did the king give to ascetic? Answer. The king rewarded the ascetic with gold, a house and jewels. Find their meanings. Choose the words given in the box and fill in the blanks. A. God. Ascetic. B. Having doubts. Skeptical. C. Self-control. Forbearance. D. Extremely surprised. Amazed. E. A group of soldiers. Sentries. Fill in the blanks. Use right words to fill in the blanks. A. King lived in Osaka. B. Queen was beautiful and lived for many years. C. I have learned from my masters to never lose composure even on rejection and abuse. Take the correct option. A. King had a 1. Queen, 2. Time, 3. Food, 4. Child. 1. Queen. B. Queen was 1. Beautiful, 2. Sweet, 3. Caring, 4. Dull. 1. Beautiful. C. King became dashed by hearing that the queen was in the company of an ascetic. 1. Angry, 2. Happy, 3. Sad, 4. Cool. 1. Angry. D. Who did the king order to lock the ascetic? 1. Guards, 2. Queen, 3. People. 1. Guards. E. What did the king give to the ascetic? 1. Jewels, 2. Car, 3. Crown. 1. Jewels. Match the columns. Change of gender. Column A. A. King. B. He. C. His. Column B. A. Her. B. Queen. C. She. Answer. King, Queen. He, she. His, her. Conceptual understanding. Write short answers for the following questions. A. Where did the king live and with whom? Answer. Once upon a time, there was a king in Osaka whose queen was beautiful and lived for many years. B. Why was the king angry? Answer. The king came to know that his queen was in a company of an ascetic. Hearing this, the king was angry. C. I speak about the value of forbearance. Who said this line? Answer. The ascetic replied, I speak about the value of forbearance. Communication. Writing skills. Write 5 words that come to your mind when you think about the following: king, ascetic. Reading skills. Read this paragraph aloud and underline the verbs. King was amazed to hear that even after such severe punishment, that changed his view towards the ascetic. King apologized for punishment and rewarded the ascetic with gold, a house, and jewels. He also asked him to teach him more about forbearance and fortitude. Ascetic Truth smiled and agreed to teach him such qualities that he learned and practiced from his master. Listening and speaking skills. Who said it? Your teacher will tell you 4 sentences from the story. Listen to those carefully, and for each of them, write king or queen or ascetic or centuries if you think any of these could have said those lines. Let's learn spellings. Circle the correctly spelled word. A. He ordered his guards. He ordered ordered his guards. B. After the punishment, the ascetic reappeared. After the punishment, 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 the ascetic reappeared. C. That changed his views towards the ascetic. That changed his views towards towards the ascetic. Let's learn grammar. Let us learn grammar. Use was or were plus ing form of the words in brackets to fill in the blanks. A. The queen and the ascetic talk to each other. The queen and the ascetic were talking to each other. B. The king and his men go to kill the ascetic. The king and his men were going to kill the ascetic. C. The ascetic speak about the value of forbearance. The ascetic was speaking about the value of forbearance. Write the following words in the correct boxes given below. 1 is done for you in 1 box. Honest, queen, story, idea, beautiful, apple. Column A, story. B, queen. C, beautiful. Column B, an. A, honest. B, apple. C, idea. Vocabulary time. Anagram, a word or phrase that is made by arranging the letters of another word or phrase in a different order. A. Make a new word from the following. 1. Saw, was. 2. Now, won. 3. Show, whose. Homophone, a word that is pronounced the same as another word but that has a different spelling and meaning. 2. Write the following homophones of the following. 1 is done for you. 1. B-E, B. B-E-E, B. 2. Here, H-E-A-R. Here, H-E-R-E. 3. G-R-A-T-E, great. G-R-E-A-T, great. Project. A. Imagine you're a king for the day. What kind of kingdom would you want it to be? And what rules would you want your people to follow? Make a picture of a beautiful kingdom on a piece of chart paper, and inside it, write down the rules and regulations of your kingdom. B. What is a crown? A crown is a traditional form of head adornment or hat worn by the kings as a symbol of their power and dignity. Keeping this in mind, create a beautiful crown using colored paper. Life skills. A. Help the king find his queen. Critically analyze the way and then make the decision of taking a step ahead. B. Look at the pictures given below and answer the questions. A. It's winter. A new litter of kittens has been born in your locality. They might feel very cold. How would you help? B. In your locality, your old uncle's car is creating lots of pollution. What would you do to solve this problem?